Man United 3, my ass. Man United nil, Tottenham Hotspurs 3. Um, I'm just gonna say my bit. Um, I've I tend to have a lot of patience in my life in general. I tend to back people maybe longer than I should do. Um, I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm over the other side of the fence now. I've now jumped over. I don't think he can motivate the players. That is what that's the team I'm sure that we put out on Solo 11 on Friday. Um, we all kind of maybe over um Ahmad over
Ganacho.
Garnacho would have been the only change, but that is what we would classify as our first team, and that was the shit show that was shoveled up today. So I'm I didn't predict a win. I didn't predict a loss like that, but I think he's in deep shit now, and I think the club's in deep shit. How are you, Dora, my dear?
Uh, I felt I had better days, honestly. Not because my life is in ruins, but watching this team is it's a chore at this moment in time, right? It's like I'm still working. It's not weekend. I should be relaxing, but then I turn on the United game and I need to watch it. I don't have any comments on the starting 11. I expected it, in all honesty. Uh, well, the same starting 11 that we shipped out, that we shipped out multiple times in the season. Uh, it's just even before that red card, which was, I mean, Bruno lost his head. We've been very poor. We couldn't get out of our half. We because we couldn't pass because of their pressure. We went back to our long balls, which were absolutely awful. I have maybe that one time when Onana shipped it out to Rashford when he was, of course, offside. That was the only decent long ball that I saw throughout the whole game. It's it's getting ridiculous right now. It's really truly getting ridiculous, and I think I honestly think that Ten Hag should have been sacked last season after Christmas, but we stuck with him because I don't know why. Because maybe Ineos wanted to save some money, but it's been disgraceful. 2 seasons under him. We, I don't know what is. I'm seeing the same mistakes as the last season. I'm seeing the same old. Our players that we bought this transfer window look like absolutely looks. They look like amateurs. They look like they came from the fourth, county local Croatian league and came to the Premier League after 3 weeks. Spurs came with a plan. They targeted our midfield. They targeted Ugarte especially. Uh, 1-2 passes in the middle of the pitch in front of our box every single time. That destroys our whole infrastructure in the defense. And all of a sudden they are in front of the goal and they have a chance to score. And to me, a team that has a manager for 3 seasons that we are conceding these simple goals and that we are falling apart with these simple patterns of play. It's an abomination, in all honesty. I am absolutely disgusted by this performance. I'm disgusted by last season. I'm disgusted by this season as well. Honestly, I don't know what to say. And even the bright spots that we always try to how do you say it? We are always trying to big him up, especially the youth. Even Mino looks like a shadow of himself. And to me, that's a very dangerous game because we are risking our youngsters being diabolical and never progressing in their career and polishing their talent. And it's I've been I've been a younger fan. I would say I've been, a supporter for more than 15 years, around 15 years, for more than 15 years. This is the worst squad play that I've ever seen from Manchester United, and that says a lot. And that truly says a lot. And he should be sacked, Ten Hag. And this is disgraceful. And I don't know what else to say. I think this is just. It's a very sad days for United. Very sad days.
Before we do the comments, I am gonna let Bath Time and OMONDI talk, and then we'll go through the comments. So guys, just put them in. We are starring a few, and we will get to them. Bath Time.
Hello. I don't really know what to say, because I mean everyone saw that today, an insipid performance on the pitch from players that didn't really seem to care, that didn't seem to have any ability. In my opinion, the manager is pretty much done from that display today. It's now about the players, to be honest. Like, how many are good enough? Like, do we have to rip up and start again? Bruno, I know it was a harsh red, but it's a red, and it was very silly. I felt Martinez was a little bit lucky to stay on after going through Maddison halfway, but we got, like, with 10 men, we've got both centre-backs at centre-forward. I have absolutely no idea what is going on. And I'm shocked by that, because it feels worse than pretty much every result in the last 5 years, except for the Liverpool match. So I just don't know what to say. I can't see how the manager can survive this one. And I'm going to give up the floor to Yaba, who I'm very intrigued to see what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, at the moment I'm really disappointed. Really, I found it really hard to watch, especially after 2 minutes into the game we go 1-0 down, and in a week when Twente, a right back, ran through the whole team, and no one stopped him, and people, it was like a calamity. People jumping, falling over the place. Their centre back looked $1 million. Just waltzed him through and just kick and run, and just squared it for no one. For Johnson on the back post, and Dalot put his hand up straight away. He knew that he should have been tracking back as well. But then it gets to that stage, you think, well, do you really expect this guy? You're jogging back. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with my man Johnson, because I expect there's 4 or 5 guys there to deal with that guy. They're gonna get across, you know. I'm really, really sad at the moment. The only consolation for me is that it's 10 men. And they beat us. They whooped us a couple seasons ago, 6-1, didn't they? At home, yeah. When we had 10 men. I think Martial got sent off or something, and it was. And I can write that off, but I'm finding it hard writing this off. All right, I could say 10 men, whatever, but I'm finding it hard to even forgive for that, because I'm with you in Bath Time. The players maybe need to be questioned. I'm looking at their centre backs, and I'm looking at Martinez. And there's one at the end there, the guy just burned him for pace. Martinez struggling. It was Kulusevski of all people, bought him, put the gas on, and left him for dust. And I'm thinking, and I see him, yeah, and I'm thinking, no, not good enough. A lot of players out there, in general, just maybe not good enough, and that's the reality of it. I'm not reactionary. Like, to come out now, regardless, I'll be getting stick. Trust me, I get a lot of stick for supporting my team and backing my team. I said we'd win 3-0. We lost 3-0, you know? So I needed a few days to really sort of think about how I really feel about this. But I'm absolutely devastated right now, and I can imagine everyone else is. But I'm not going to be reactionary and say Ten Hag must go. When I look at it, was Ten Hag responsible for the goal against Twente? Mistakes, you know, was Ten Hag responsible for Dalot not tracking back, or letting this centre back just cruise through, you know, like hot knife through butter? Or is it just the players just not on it? Or does the Ten Hag, does the player, do we have to have a manager that, you know, gets the players to sort of go 110% and really give a SHIT? You know, because sometimes that's what you need. A manager sometimes might not be the best manager in the world. We had a guy called Mick Byrne, rest in peace. He was a gangster from West London, Ladbroke Grove and all that. And he turned to become a football manager and was a very good football manager because he was in your face. Didn't have the foggiest about football so much, learned the game eventually, but he was a good manager because he was a rough house, like in your face, getting the best out of players. He had that sort of psychology. And I just think sometimes that is the ability of a manager. Maybe they're not responding to him. They're not all terrible players, but they're definitely not responding to him. And the hairdryer treatment was needed at times by Fergie. You know, you need to add something else to get a reaction from your players. And I think once you lose that respect by these high-profile players, they will let you down, knowing that they're getting paid and someone else can come in and then they can step it up. You see that all the time when people get new contracts. They play well till they get the contract, and then they're like, I'm done. You know, I'm cool. I can cruise now. You know, so I'm just vexed inside after what we saw. A battering and 10 men. And Bruno, man, what the hell are you doing? You know, it's like idiocy. It's crazy how you can do something stupid like that. The only reason he did that, by mind you, is because Spurs, shame on all our Man United players, but Spurs were passing and moving and running off the ball, and they couldn't handle it. It's pure frustration about not being able to live with these guys who could just run and play attacking football, and we couldn't even get close to them. That's the reason he got sent off.
All right, look, let's go through some of these admissions. This is the reason why we are here, to be fair. So, Mr. Poets, Mount is an absolute disgrace to the football club. We're in the number 7 shirt that shows.
Hang on a second, Mr. V. Your mic is terrible. Like, whilst you sort it out, I'll read them.
And like, camera as well. You're very grainy.
You're being like blocked. All right, sack this clown, and I don't want to hear people blaming players. Look at the manager, just not good enough. Hello, Solo. Lovely to find you in a good mood. It's not just the manager, it's the players. Rashford was shocking today, and same with Delo. Worst performance from those two I've seen. You're in agreement, Yabba?
Yeah.
The way the manager plays his style of football, you might as well just bring back Ollie. At least we didn't look this poor. And POTUS is ETH out. Andrew is asking, is this the final straw? And Cormac Maguire, what did I just witness? Tyrone, I think it's Ten Hag. It's time for Ten Hag to go. The players aren't playing for him. Spurs could have been 6-0 up, but Werner is poor. Yeah, thank God. That was shocking from Matty Bassett. Dora, I am disgusted.
That was before the stream.
Matty Bassett, my Sunday League team plays better than this. Ipswich play better football than us, fact. I think Ten Hag will be sacked later on. I hope you're all prepared to do another show. Matty McMatface had a colonoscopy yesterday. I thought that would have been the worst day of my weekend. Nice one. Jonathan Borg from Star Trek, big up. Agile Beast, I honestly can't believe we're this shit. We're the biggest underperforming team in the league. Wages paid and transfer fees paid, we're number 1. But we're 11th now after 6 games with, is it -3 goal difference we're on? Perfect. You can't really blame the team picked. Can you not? Big G told you Bruno is shit and overrated. Elite baller. Is it time to criticise Bruno yet or nah? Jonathan, pal, don't worry. In 4 years, we will win the league. A deal. I've been telling you this Bruno is not good enough. He was awful since 2 seasons ago. Given a crap contract was the worst decision. Goodbye, T-Hag. Southgate incoming sooner rather than later. Omondi still Ten Hag in, and will he win us the league? You can answer that if you like. But there's 20 in chat. Support the guys with a like and subscribe. Ten Hag won't be sacked until international break. We've gone backwards with Al McTominay, a man after my own heart, Big T, but probably not the time for it. Can he just put his hands up and say, I resign?
He will be insane to do it.
He
Like
is
money.
Completely
Money.
mental, so who knows? Ineos will be talking with prospective managers from tomorrow, I sense. Another manager these players have thrown under the bus. I'm going to ask if people think that our players threw the manager under the bus today. It's Yale. It's a shame. 73k people watched this. 140k has watched our last 2 home games in the league, and we've lost 3-0 both times. I was excited for this season, but now, lads, we find ourselves in a relegation battle. Jesus Christ. It made no difference with 10 men or 11. We got destroyed in every area of the pitch. But he must go, even though it wasn't his fault. He should take responsibility. He just isn't setting the team up right. Yabba, spot on. But these players can't even do the bare minimum. Not convinced any manager can sort these players out. 1 red card, 2 injuries tonight. We're 3 points from 16th. Elite Baller wants Bruno out. Is a little man-child masquerading as a United captain. And we'll finish off with Big G saying Ten Hag is literally teabagging us. Lovely. So there we go. Those are the comments done. What's next?
All right, let's just try and go through this in some sort of chronological order. First goal. Was it a Rashford? Are we blaming Rashford for the goal?
No.
I think I'll blame all of them.
Yes. Good answer. I mean, if you see a centre back running with all his confidence through your team, like just stand in front of him, but everyone is jogging around him. And this is very reminiscent. And thank you, Omondi, for mentioning that game. When we lost 6-1 to Spurs in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, I think either Maguire or someone fouled a Spurs player just inside of our third, right? Just inside of our, third. And no one stepped in front of the taker. And they immediately, I don't think that they were even, aware that Spurs players immediately started playing. And in 3 passes, we considered a goal. I think it was Harry Kane, if I'm not mistaken. And that moment kind of, came in like a flashback. In 2020, we saw that the players were just rolling around. They didn't even care if the player, was running through the team. And once again, we are seeing that today. But this is more criminal to me because Van de Ven literally started running from his part of the field. And he ran for 70 meters and he just gave it to Brendan Johnson and he scored a goal. And now I know everyone is going to, jump on Dalot, for example. Of course, he didn't track back, but you also need to understand that they're playing with high fullbacks and that enforced error that, Garnacho and Rashford kind of were, very close to each other and they couldn't, make out who is going to get to that ball. They lost the ball. And now the midfielders are supposed to stop that run. And no one did it. And to me, I think that was a proper answer. I think BATTIME is right. The whole team was at fault. This is a true unforced error by the team, and I was in shock. Like that was what first 2 minutes of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely horrendous.
I mean, to sort of to build on that, when we look back at the 20 goal that we conceded, once again, Bruno Fernandes is just watching as players run past him. I'm a huge fan of centre backs carrying the ball up the pitch. Like everyone laughs at me because I like Tyrone Mings because he does that. But you not only saw it's just if you go man to man, this is what happens. Like Rashford and Garnacho are like crashing about the pitch, running into each other. Poor ball from Xerxes. But that doesn't mean that there should be a tap-in at the back post. So much has gone wrong there. Like Ugarte, man, what a terrifying performance that boy has put in today.
Shocking.
I mean, I'm hoping he's just not fit or whatever, but he is. I mean, I think I prefer Amrabat back, to be honest. However, like I like De Ligt as a player and I like Mazraoui as a player, but they're both shocking. Everything about that is shocking because they're all waiting for someone else to do something. And I know Dalot is going to get the criticism for it. I think that Dalot, that is a bit of a system error because it looked to me that he was moving into to cover where the pivot should be because like Van de Ven is going to go past four or five people. But that in the first 2 minutes of a football match is I couldn't believe what I was seeing because it's happened twice in a week and it's not acceptable. Yabba.
Yeah, so going back to the goal. So obviously, it's just after 2 minutes, we conceded a goal. And obviously, we're going to break down what went wrong. Rashford gave the ball away first. I think it was Rash again, kicking the ball too far ahead of him. You've got to have tight control. When you see someone like Messi dribble, touch, you know, it's beautiful. But Rashford, I'm not going to get into his performance today, but there's a lot of stuff that gets me really frustrated about a professional player after years and years at a professional top club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and still doing things wrong that I would scream at my 8-year-old son. I don't have an 8-year-old son anymore. They're both older than that now. But if they were 8, I'd be screaming at them. That's pathetic. You don't do that. I'm going to put out Maz here because when he had a gap, like the part under the sea, like it was like Moses put down his staff, there was a gap between the centre-back and Maz because Maz got drawn over to Werner. And I always find it funny when I say the word Werner because it sounds like Wiener for some reason in my mind, you know. But he got pulled over. Werner sort of walked away, left the gap, and for some reason Maz went over to him. I don't think he needed to protect the central areas of the pitch. Tuck him your centre back. I'm a centre back. This is what you're supposed to do. Drag your man in. Don't go out there. What are you going out there for? You're leaving us exposed. And it opened up for this guy to just kick the ball and run through that gap that was formed. Maz shouldn't have gone out to Werner. If Werner gets the ball, then you deal with it. But don't let this guy just run through you. Maybe he didn't expect. He expected the guy to pass it off because you don't get centre backs doing that often, do you? But you should. That's rule number one. Keep your back four like that. Once one of these guys gets dragged out, there's the gap, and there's the gap right there, and that's you know exactly.
Stop sweating.
Well, exactly. That's my point. So you know, it's really disappointing to see that, and then we can go on to other errors about maybe Onana should not let balls go across the 6-yard box like that. What is he doing? I don't know. Maybe get a foot on it. I can't even think what happened. But how can a ball go across like that without someone getting a touch on it or something like that? You got. It's De Ligt as well. Letting the guy push and run on him. You got to read that. There's only certain place he can go. You understand what I'm saying? Once he's already got into that area, De Ligt has let him get a yard to get the crossing in the first place. Granted, he did try to slide in at the end, but it's too late. It's too late. So, and then obviously, as Dora was saying about Dalot not picking up, and he put his hands up straight away. I like that. I like to see people take responsibility, but then he also should be getting that hand and slapping about 4 other players who were responsible for that goal, which is really disappointing. It's a bad start, and you think to yourself, wow. But we did try to get back in the game, and we did have chances. As much as people say, this is what I'm saying to the 10 men is the main issue for me, why we didn't win that game, because I think we could have got back into the game, even though Tottenham started well. Teams can start well against us, but you can climb yourself back into the game and get opportunities. And we did get a few opportunities after the goal.
Can I ask you some technical things about that goal, Yaba?
Yeah.
You were talking about Mazraoui's position. Like, obviously, the space between the fullback and the centre back is the channel, and it was wide open there. Like the boats were coming through, but I think it was wide open because in build-up we go to a man-to-man system. And that is a system error that Mazraoui's been asked to stick on Werner. Do you disagree with
I
that as an observation?
I totally disagree. The ball's been turned over. If you're going man to man, I understand, but the ball's been turned over, and Werner has gone to touch out to the touchline.
Yeah,
you don't need to go with him. What are you going to do there? What's the point in going out there with him? Do you understand? He stood.
Yeah, I completely understand.
What's the point in going out there with him? Why not tuck in and protect your back four and protect that area? That's my point. So man to man or whatever, use your instincts. Use your understanding of the game. Saying, right, I'm not going out there. This a foil. That's a foil. Let me just protect the middle. And if it does go out there, then we will go as a unit. You know, because they're attacking the ball. They turned over the ball. Now they're pushing onto you. You don't leave spaces that are wide open like that, especially through the channel. And it's just, So I don't think it's a system error. I think it's an issue. Maz should know better. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Don't go out. Now, we're fresh after watching the game. I advise anyone to go and watch that first goal again. I haven't even seen Sky Sports. I don't care what Sky Sports says. I can talk football enough to know you don't go and do that. From when I see the goal, my first thought was, what the hell are you doing out there? Why? You know, why are you getting dragged on? So
the second thing that I wanted to ask you is, was De Ligt just unprepared for the pace of Van de Ven there?
Well,
because I was going to say, it seems to me that I play in midfield. I'm not like a centre back, but he look, his whole body shape, everything, like getting his hip across against Van de Ven, getting that arm up to sort of bosh him off a little bit. Everything seemed amateur about that. That's like me playing Sunday leagues, to be honest, what I saw from De Ligt.
Yeah, I'll quickly, before I come to Dora on this one, I want to know your thoughts as well, Dora, about that. Because the guys ran 50 yards and he still had a burst of pace. So by this point, if you can't read what's going on and what he's about to do, then you know that's criminal in my mind as a centre back. What you got to do, you see him coming, you position yourself. Positioning is the most important thing. Sideways on and ready to go. If he's going to go, he's not going to cut inside. You know he's going to go line. And you just got to stop that cross coming across, that ball coming across. It's simple as that. So be prepared on your toes. He slowed down. You know this when he slow and push again. It's very hard to deal with that. And as a centre back, when you come up against wingers and top quality players, you always got to be on toes. Go, you know, and ready to go. You know, on your toes like that. But he was too flat-footed and probably, I think he's Dutch as well. He should know what this guy's attributes are. He should know better than that, you know? So I'm really disappointed that he allowed the ball to go across when this guy has already run another 50 yards and he still had enough to push and go and get a yard on De Ligt to get the ball across in a dangerous area. You've got to protect that and you've got to deal with that a lot quicker. But like you say, everyone needs to take responsibility for that. And I hope the manager is grilling them right now about lack of effort and lack of initiative to deal with that, to allow that to happen, especially in the week where it happened with 20. Isn't that right, Dora?
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting to the point where, you know, it's obviously a systematic error. It's obviously a systematic error, but it feels like, you know, some of the players also don't know how to recognize the situations. And as you guys mentioned, maybe De Ligt, you know, in that moment, you know, he should have done better there because he obviously knows Mickey Van de Ven. He's also a player. You know, he probably played against him and knows him. They probably played together in the national team as well. I'm not sure, but I believe that Van de Ven, you know, was called up. And when you mentioned the cross that happened, I'm looking at Onana again, and I know people are going to take this. But they're probably going to say, oh, you know, once again, she's singling him out. He was class today. He made some great saves today. I'm not taking away that from him, but he needs to be a master of his 5-meter box. And since he came in, I'm not seeing it. And same thing, Omondi, if you remember that third goal, which Solanke scored, you know, players were in no man's land. They didn't mark the player, but it's literally 2 meters from his line. And just take one step, por favor, or please, molim, you know, in any language, just take one step up, and catch the ball, and you're going to be the first on the ball. And to me, it feels like, I don't know what happens with these players when they come to Manchester United. Is this a curse? Is this a problem that, I don't know, like literally, I cannot remember a single signing in the last few years that actually had consistent good games for United. We saw Varane and Martinez in that first season having good center back, pairing together. But after that, Martinez looks like a shell on himself. He's losing his head. He's all over the pitch. Then you have the others. You have Onana, who is supposed to be this insane super keeper, blah, blah. He doesn't look good. You have Zirkzee, who in Bologna looks great. It's at another league, but he looks very solid. He's assisting, he's, scoring, but not as much as goals that you would like, but he's scoring. And I don't know. What is it? What is it about, these players that come to the club? I truly don't know. Is it the system? Is it this? Is that? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anymore.
All right. We'll probably come back to that. I'd like to do the comments now because they're being front run. So, first of all, we're going to start off with Mr. Potus. Zirkzee is just not the player for our club. He's thrown away too many chances at this level. You don't have the privilege to keep playing after 5 matches and not putting away chances. We'll probably talk about Zirkzee and Bruno after we've done this round of comments. But, yeah. If you play against a team with a super high line, would you play out from the back or over the top? What's more logical? It depends on the players. Manchester United do not have the players to play out from the back, just simply put. Look at Spurs. Their centre back is a better left winger than anyone we've got. Van de Ven beat 4 people, crossed it to the back post. When did Rashford last do that? Zirkzee should have scored today. We'll get to Zirkzee. Oh no, it's more Zirkzee. Hello, Stuart. An absolute shambles. We're going backwards. Not blaming any individual, but Zirkzee is not a Manchester United player. Not wasting my time, money on this shite anymore. Ten Hag needs gone. Are you at Old Trafford today, Stuart?
Probably was.
Mr. B had to leave because his internet was as bad as United's performance. 8 home defeats in the last 20 games. My word. The 20 goal in the first one today is almost a carbon copy of someone steaming through our midfield and defence. Someone effing foul him. Joint worst Premier League start. It's not on. Get Ollie back. Ugarte. 2 absolute dog shit performances this week. Have to see better than that. When's Penny going to drop for United fans? Rashford just isn't good enough. 0 quality today and another performance. I know you want to talk about Imiaba, so we'll do that next. We made Spurs look like prime Brazil. Monkey face. Oh, good evening, all. I missed the game. I just wanted to thank Dora for recommending me her chocolate namesake, Dora.
I'm glad you tried it. Hope you like it. Oh, hope you liked it.
I hope you choked on it. Just joking, Bart. With the team as poor as it is, I think even Zidane would turn the job down.
Oh,
right, if it weren't for Onana, it could have been 5 second half.
True.
This is good. This is something I'd like to come back to. Still no leadership in that team. I never felt we were going to score today once they scored. And Patrick, terrible performance and result. However, each set and structure will always leave United susceptible to fast breaks and attacks. The way he deploys players leave them exposed. Too many times in his tenure. Werner is so poor. We made Werner look like Pele. Spurs were destroying United for about 40 minutes, even 11 versus 11. Each seemed capable of adjusting tactics after 15 to 20 minutes of the first half. I agree. We lost 1v1s all over the pitch. Van de Ven is class. Ineos will be looking for a new manager. If you haven't scouted Van de Ven and know that he's a threat coming forward, then you really are incompetent. Oh, God, yeah. If Son played today instead of Werner, it would have been 6 or 7. Is it relegation form from this performance? It was disgusting. The manager is a clown. Yale, who brought that up, says Old Trafford is emptied again. Ten Hag's presser is annoying me. Zero accountability. Oh, no. What is he saying in the presser?
Oh, God.
Dora's right. Can't handle the pressure. Mr. B, so proud you saw the light before this. Andrew, it really hurts me to cross over to the dark side. And then look, this is who you're agreeing with. I love it here. Nightmares are the best part of my day. And shout out to all my poggers on Twitch. Harsh red card. Yellow should have been produced for that tackle on Bruno. All right.
Talking points would be
yeah.
the red card and what you just said about some certain players, but Xerxes, Bruno, and Rashford. And the red card as well, yeah.
Should do the red card quickly.
Yeah, but it does include Bruno as well because it's about him.
Yeah, no, but we'll get on to the individual players. But just, does anyone think that red card was incredibly harsh or was harsh but fair?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Explain. I think the similar card that this is similar to Southampton one that we got a few weeks ago, and the leg was high. The leg was he caught his knee, and I thought that was a very dangerous tackle. I know people are going to say he slipped, but that leg was up before he slipped, so he knew what was he doing. So I cannot excuse Bruno there. It's just such a reckless tackle, and he should know better. He's a captain. His head should be empty. Like, he should be more focused, more concentrated. He should be the leader, but he lost his head in that first half, and he really disappointed me today. I don't know what to say to him. Like, it's just disappointment that we are seeing this from our captain.
So straight red.
Yeah.
Straight red. I mean, I was a bit, because I was, kind of at that moment, I was, not necessarily, paying attention 100%, but they, let it again, in the real time and then in the slow motion. I know slow motion is always a bit iffy when it comes to these situations, but even in live action, it looked very dangerous, and he was, and to me, that was a red card.
Yeah, but you're agreeing. You think it's red as well?
Yeah, totally red. When look, it's 2024. These are the rules. Players should be knowing what to expect when they go out there and understand you can't do things like that. Now, you played Saturday. I played today. I've seen tackles like that today. They're not going to send you off things like that, But the thing is, it's a red card, from my opinion, based on the rules, and also based on you damn right you should take a red card for that, because you can't be petulant. And just because someone's tearing you apart in midfield and change direction, you're struggling to get there. You want to try and do. There's ways to bring people down. If you want to stop the play, we call it a professional foul. A professional foul used to be the one with the last man, isn't it? The last man, you bring him out. What I'm saying, what do they call it when Man City stop the play?
Tactical fouls.
Tactical fouls, yeah, sorry. So to me, if you want to do a tactical foul, which I'm assuming Bruno was trying to do, you don't go and put your studs high up near the knee level and try to take them down at that, because you will always get red. So if you're not at 29 years old and played as many games as he has, he's more qualified than any of us playing professional football. He should know better. He's let down our team today, because we would still be in the game at 1-0, at that stage, if he would stayed on the pitch. And so he's got a lot of explaining to do to his teammates and apologizing to do as well, because it's petulance, as they say. He got beat, he got turned away. A lot of time, at one point, I know Bath Time, you talked a lot. Here's the thing, let me just explain something about Bruno, that from my observation. He acts like he works hard, but it's dumb work. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's to impress fans who don't understand football.
Yeah.
When you see the man running, and I saw him today early in the game, he ran they recycled the ball throughout the centre backs and all that. He ran the whole way about 3/4 pace, and I thought, you're going to be gassed, bruv. And he went all the way around, and we didn't get nowhere near it, and they still came out with the ball, just passing the ball, using the ball. And I thought, was it really worth you running like that? And I think in his mind, he thinks the fans are going to applaud that and think, I'm working hard, you know? And that's got nothing to do with how you press. As you know, if you watch the eye test guys on a Monday, you'd understand that's not how you press to get press in football. But he's doing it to get applause, to say, look at me, I'm working hard. But it's dumb work. So today, when he's done that, if you can do a tactical foul, do it smartly, you know? Just pull his shirt or something. You don't get a red card for that. But to go like that, I know you couldn't get near him, but just, you know, keep your legs down. And he's going to act like he slipped because he knew the guy was getting away with him. Red card, take that. Take 3 games out where you can think about your petulance and your foolishness and how you let down everybody, yeah? And then try and get back in the team if we start performing. Because Bruno, I'm really disappointed with you, bruv. You ain't, you know, you're a great talented footballer, but up here, sometimes ego, petulance, all this thing can take over and destroy you as a player, you know? So you need to change your mindset, bro. You need to change your mindset and come back better, because that's let down the whole club and the whole of supporters by that stupid move you did today.
Carry on, Yabba. Talk to me about Rashford.
Rashford, to me, right, Dora, I want you nodding your head, man, because like I can't see bath time whether it's agreeing or not. But Rashford, for me, is like this. You made me laugh just earlier. You mentioned how their centre back, you know, took on 4 players and crossed the ball, and Rashford couldn't do that once. I watched Rashford closely today. I'm thinking, boy, it's showtime. You want to, you might not get much out of they're Ugugu, where his name is, the left back. Agogi, Ugugu. You might not get much out of him, but you're up against their Portuguese fullback, and you got an opportunity here to get in. Time your runs, bend your runs so you can stay on side, you know, and there's one where he got the ball, run, and he fell off. You know, the pitch slopes like that. He ran so fast, going nowhere. They saw him out, shepherded him off the pitch, and he ended up skidding off into the hoardings. And I'm thinking, and Zerchi was just standing there like that, and he didn't even acknowledge anyone to say that was poor and I'm sorry, you know, because he's just, I don't know what the hell are you trying to do there. What are you trying to do? It's always said he runs into traffic, and once again today, just dumb moves. So to me, it's about, we talked about Bruno, dumb move today, and people say he plays too many like Hollywood balls and all this kind of thing, and the stupid runs trying to press. But Rashford today, man, and overall, based on his career, I can't compare him to the legends of our football club. If that's the guy we're looking to, you know, because he scored 30 goals the other season, is that the guy we're looking to? And you come down and say, all right, who's playing us next? Is it Porto? If Porto's scout turned up today and said, right, we're going to watch Rashford because he scored 30 goals, he's probably their best player, they'd be looking and saying, what? Just shepherd him out. He ain't going nowhere. He just runs into trouble. It's dumb. It's stupid, you know? So for me, Rashford gets a boo, you know, and I'm just like furious that a professional footballer like that can't just give and go. And every time he gets the ball, he wants to think he can just run and beat players. You can't do that at this level. You can't. The fullbacks are just as fast as you, and they're smarter than you, and they shepherd you out and make you look stupid. When you're sliding, you probably got skid marks all up your knees and everything from sliding into the hoarding state. Absolutely disappointed with him for a long time now, and I think we need to start looking elsewhere. That's why I'm so gutted Sancho's gone, because he was a guy I felt that could help us play football. Imagine Sancho linking up with Xerxes and all this kind of thing. You know, I want more technical players. If you've got pace, use it effectively. Brendan Johnson, for example. Now, they were saying, I heard a lot of Nottingham Forest fans saying, oh, look, we sold Brendan Johnson for 50 million, but in return, we got Elanga and Hudson-Odoi. Imagine that. And these guys are really good players, quick, fast. Elanga's rapid, and they're being effective at the moment. So they got a good deal there. But Brendan Johnson's just fast, but he uses his pace intelligently. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he's not going to get the ball and try to do a Rashford thing, because Rashford's, last week Rashford done a flip-flap And, he's probably looking at his Instagram and looking at the comments saying, what are they think? And the people, because kids of today love all that thing. Zero effectiveness. Did nothing happen from it. But he's going to look upon that. I'm not saying, I imagine this is true, that he's going to look at it and say, do you see my flip-flap? You see what I did? Telling his boys or going and reading the comments where kids who know nothing about football will be saying, oh, do you see Rashford's flip-flap? Ineffective. Brendan Johnson, I see his dad skinning teeth in the crowd today saying that's my boy because he's made the most of his pace, used his pace to be effective. Rashford ain't doing jack.
Well, right. I agree, Omondi, but I would just say, I mean, to be honest with you, Brendan Johnson had an easy job today. So I think Rashford had a bit harder job because, that defense looked very lost. But I agree. I think we should look for alternatives. I don't believe that, I watched him today and I thought, okay, he's going to test Pedro Porro. Like, that guy is good, but, he's pacey. Like, in the first 15 minutes, even after we conceded, I felt like he was the only one on that left side that actually produced something. And remember that chance where he could just square the cross to Zirkzee, who was all alone. And he does it one time with his left foot. And I'm like, you cannot even pass properly with your right foot. Why are you doing this? Just, be more, patient and, just pinpoint the pass. And that pass is going to be, much better quality. I felt like he could have been the most dangerous man today because he was, crossing and all that. But then that fumbled cross, the other cross on the back post, I don't know what is about the back post. I know Garnacho hit the bar, but those back post crosses are absolutely diabolical. I haven't seen two good crosses on that side of the pitch, and I think these players need to be on the training ground and actually learn how to cross because this is diabolical. I haven't seen so many missed crosses than from United. And then Eriksen comes in the second half, and first post he fumbles two or three set pieces, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm throwing up. I'm literally throwing up. And after that, I went to walk my dog because I couldn't handle it anymore. So I don't know what these guys are doing at the training ground, but I agree, Omondi. I think we should look for the alternatives. Cash in, maybe find another, English, talent left winger, like, Spurs found with Brendan Johnson. I'm not saying that he's a world beater, but, he obviously,
Anthony Gordon?
Maybe I don't know who like someone that is going to be a future of the English football or whoever, like just bring in a left winger that is actually productive, because you see it, you think that he can do it, his pace and all that, but then he runs into traffic and makes mistakes, and I'm tired of it, honestly. I'm just at this point in time just done with it.
We got a backlog of comments building up, but box office stuff from both of you. I enjoyed that a lot, yeah, but more than the game. Juan Pablo might get checked into rehab after this game. Heath blaming the red card, saying it changed the game. Did he see the game we all see? I hope this quote is wrong. Oh, God. Patrick, may sound harsh, but I don't believe that the likes of Garnacho or Højlund are any good. Club are merely hoping that they'll be ruthless killers in the attack in third. I thought Garnacho was reasonable today. Like just he had the basics of a footballer. Do you really think he plays that way to full thick fans? God, that's a tongue twister. All a bit patronising to both. I'll back you up on this, yeah, but in my experience, you get players that we call kid-on players that do performative actions on the football pitch that don't help the team and just kind of help themselves. Like people sliding about like Casemiro, that's kid-on football. Martinez is a kid-on footballer. Okay, Andrew is going to keep us updated with the conference. Bruno was terrible. I'm glad we can play the next 3 league games without him. Could be a huge turning point for Bruno, this, to be perfectly honest, a huge one. He's been the one player that people have always said didn't throw the manager under the bus. Today, when he goes off laughing and joking with Maddison, I don't know. Rashford is pathetic as a footballer. I'd have a party if he left. I'd come, actually. What's happening with Anthony? Gee, yeah, what's going on with Anthony? Michael, if Heath gets the sack this week, can he take Bruno and Rashford with him? That was hard to watch. The stream froze a few times, and I normally don't like that. I did today. Very good.
Great
I think you make a good point, actually. Like, if Heath goes, like, do Bruno and Rashford go with him? And there's more. Anana, Martinez, Hoyland.
Oh,
Xerxes.
jeez.
Like, who wants these players, man? Right, Big G. This team is one gigantic skid mark. Skid marks, Yabba. Perfect analogy of a shite performance. Rashford's shocking today, running into blind alleys, cheaply giving away possession by running into the Spurs players.
Yep.
Like, do you remember that bit where he ran past everyone and forgot to cross?
Yes.
Unreal.
He went out of the Old Trafford. He went into the tunnel.
Left early, like Ronaldo. Garnacho flatters to deceive, impact sub at best. Spurs' right and left defence had him all day. Hoyland all huff and puff and too concerned with marking defenders rather getting into goal-scoring positions. And he also missed another bloody tap-in my opinion. Right, Andrew's going to bring the best quotes.
Here we go.
Okay. We conceded, and that threw our whole game plan out the window. I mean, it's the Premier League.
Yeah.
We weren't able to find the spare man in the switch. We were not aggressive enough. Thanks, Eric. First 20 minutes, not good enough, but we were still alive. We had our chances. Redguard killed the game. It can happen. It can't happen that twice in a few days, defender of the opposition runs through most of our team.
Is that from Eric Ten Hag?
Yeah.
If you did your scouting, maybe you would expect it, but...
Yeah, but it did happen. That's the point. It's not it can't happen. It did happen.
Yeah, it did happen.
We knew it'd take some time after all the changes we made in the summer. Already this season, we have some injuries.
Who is injured? Luke Shaw.
Mount. He went off with a really nasty head wound, didn't he? I'd like to know if that was a concussion sub. Because that means he can't play. Like,
Oh, yeah. Mino came off kind of injured as well. He was limping when he went out after the red card, yeah.
Do you think he's gone, or did they stay with him? For me, he's gone. Right. Yabba and Dora.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Xerxes.
I'm sorry. Like, Omondi, when we had that stream, when I think Thiago Motta said that he reminds him of Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, and I don't know, another player, I forgot. Batistuta, Gabriel Batistuta, of course. He looked like Ibrahimovic, who is retired and is doing talk shows and everything. That's how he is moving, literally. He's stiff as a board. He is stiff as a concrete. I don't know what is he doing. Even today, like when he came in, I saw what he was trying to do. I saw that he had a good touch, that he would pass into space for the wingers. It all looked great against Southampton, against Barnsley, against, even Fulham in that first game where he scored. But, I mean, since then, it's like, Beth, I mentioned that 3 weeks after our signing looks like shit. It feels like someone sucked out, his touch as well, because today his touch was awful. His passing was awful. He's missing bare chances. Again, he should score that chance in front of the goal. So I don't know. I think Batistuta, Ronaldo, and Ibrahimovic are turning in their grave. I mean, hypothetical grave. They're all alive.
They're not dead.
I mean, I would die. I would die seeing this performance, and I almost, dropped that in my seat when I saw that performance. He was today absolutely horrendous, and I'm questioning it. I'm questioning how he moves in the attack, how he, sometimes you can't get out of the gutter with only just, passing into space. Sometimes you need to do something by yourself, and he's just, a fart, nothing else. He just smells really bad after trying something. So I don't know. I'm very disappointed, and I know he just came in, but this is concerning, because then Højlund comes in, and he's doing the same thing. Like everything is bouncing off him, like he's a freaking wall. When I'm throwing the ball to my dog, I'm throwing it into the wall, and then it bounces off the wall, and he catches it. That's Højlund. I'm throwing it at Højlund, and it's bouncing off him, the ball, for my dog to catch it. Like, it's getting ridiculous, and I'm not even trying to be funny. It's just, it feels that way. We spend so much money on these two strikers, more so to Højlund, 70 mil, this guy is 30 mil. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are these players doing in the training? I am baffled, and I'm all for progressive strikers, modern strikers who are passing, assisting. I need my strikers to score. For the love of God, please just find the back of the net for once in your life, and it's getting absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, but does Xerxes need to add a bit more to his game? We know his qualities, but are they enough to be the Manchester United number 9?
I want to know what you think as well, because you got away with the previous one, Bath Time.
Which one?
The previous we talked about Rashford. You didn't say anything. You let us
performance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Maybe you can say something about it as well as Xerxes. I disagree with Dora. I disagree with about the performance today with Xerxes. I can't single out anyone to say it's really, really bad, apart from Martinez, Rashford, and obviously Maz made a mistake for the goal. But overall performance throughout the game, Martinez was poor, and Rashford was really poor, and Bruno obviously messed up. He didn't get to finish the game. I know you mentioned Agate as well, but I'm not too sure about him just yet. But with Xerxes, I really rate him as a player. I love his qualities. Now, you asked the question, Bath Time. We know his qualities, yes. I'm not going to talk about that. But can he do more, you're asking? Yeah, he can. He had a chance today. He could have scored a goal with his left foot. Hit it on target. The keeper got down. And that keeper's very tall. And that's how shows you how slow that shot was. Because the keeper's so tall, and he just went down and held it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So with his left foot, and that was a lovely move, by the way. This is what I'm saying. When you look at the game, that move where Xerxes had that chance with his left foot, it was a little interplay between a few players, and it ended up with Kobe getting into the box and squaring it, setting Xerxes up for the finish. And he should have buried it, to be honest. I agree. I think so. If you ask him about where he can make a difference and step it up. His goals, as Dora said, strikers or forwards are sort of overall rated on their goal output, and he should have put that away today. Funny enough, in the first few seconds, the ball was pumped up to him and he actually headed it. He won the header. And I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. Maybe he starts scoring headers as well. But what he needs to do to improve is start scoring more goals. I saw some wonderful comments in the chat saying about Solanke. He's anticipating. We spoke about this in the last show about the shot goes in. He's already making his run to get just in case there's a rebound. That's what he needs to get into his mindset. Keep doing these just in case runs, because you never know. That's how strikers get their goals, because they anticipate things. All right, shot's gone in. The keeper's not always going to claim it. Can I get seconds? Can I pinch the ball or something like that? And that's what he needs to start doing as well. And as well, use his size to start winning headers. Even if some people we talk about concussion and things like that. Some people just don't like heading the ball. You've seen kids closing their eyes, and I was always like, I never liked to head the ball as a young person. I remember one time I hit my nose, and it really spun me out. My nose was bleeding, and I thought, oh God, I hate it. They put me off heading for a long time. But now it's a technique, as you said, Bath Time. Heading's a technique. It's a real art of how to head the ball. So now I can head it pretty well, you know. I get up and, you know, time it and boom, you know, and not just that, I call it so everyone around me knows. I got my elbows up like that, like I'm pretending to jump, but really it's like, get away from me, give myself some space, and no one can come in and elbow me. You know, so many different things you have to learn about heading the ball. He, with his size, should at least be challenging and be, you know, ready for any kind of long ball or high ball to come over. He should be challenging, score more headers. It's embarrassing a man that big cannot score headers. He needs to improve in that area. He's the sort of player with his height and ability that he'll be taking a short corner, going for the short corner instead, or taking corners. He should be in the box, you know, being a major threat. So I think he needs to, one, learn how to anticipate. Watch Gary Lineker, watch Cavani, all these guys. Watch Solanke, for example. Watch how people score goals. Don't just stand still, get to feet, and just, you know, put your collars up like Cantona. I think I've done my pit. Oh, look at this. It's a piece of art. You know, I've laid this guy, and now I can just enjoy, you know, the meal. No, you got to get on the end of things and score goals at this level. You got to take it to another level now that he's at a big club like Man United. So he can improve, but I still think he's a quality player.
Good.
You got to talk about Rashford, and you got to talk about Xerxes.
So earlier on, I believe it's Andrew said something about leadership in the chat. And like today, I sort of like, I think in the maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the game when we're a goal down, Rashford went on a run. And I thought, great, like maybe he's going to try and get us back into the game. You know, pin back Porro, go at him and things. But Rashford played like I don't know. He played like a nun in the opening scene of Blade, where they're in the club, and the vampires, you know, the vampire disco and all that. I think that it has to kind of be the end of the line for Rashford now. That's a lot of managers that he's been through. I will never ever forget the performance against Villarreal in the final. The worst performance I've ever seen from Manchester United player. It was, and he had a book out the next day. He had like talks, but with Barack Obama. I mean, it was awful. I'm just like, I don't know what to say about him, because I think that I thought that there were signs he was turning the corner this season, but then he drops that display when the team needs him, and I've never been a huge fan of Rashford, and it's very rare for me to dislike an academy player. But I've never really warmed particularly to Marcus with his body language, like his ridiculous wage demands, the way he thinks he's a superstar without really doing anything, lack of effort on the pitch, the lack of desire and aggression, like never helping his teammates, never putting his body on the line. Disappoints me as a United player continuously. And today, I think you saw all of that, like even for the first goal, like just kind of bottling that challenge, like not even looking backwards, just disgraceful. And I think the one thing that everyone can agree with me on is you can't hang your hat on Rashford for pressure situations. He never really gets you out of trouble or does anything. So there's that. With Xerxes, I've got big problems with Xerxes because the team needs goals, right? That's I mean, it needs a lot of stuff, but goals is something that we need. And I don't think he's got them in it. I think that earlier on, Andrew said something about running channels and things. I think it's very one-dimensional. And when it doesn't come off, as it did today, you see that he's lacking in a lot of areas of the game. I'd like to see him put himself about more, as Yabo was talking about, smashing some centre halves, making it difficult at least. And instead, it was just this half-hearted, lazy performance up front. And my big concern is that there's definitely a player there, right? I think we can all agree he's got flair, he's got a good touch for the ball. There's a player there, but I wonder who wants that player, because I think we're looking at a new manager coming in, and you know, we've got two strikers that are so different from each other. Like we can't go like for like and put in who thinks you know who's playing better this week or whatever. We've got to build a team around one of them. You got Rasmus stretching the pitch, being a physical presence, or you got Xerxes dropping in deep. And it sounds great having two completely different strikers, but we can't really build a team around it until we get another one for them. So I'm just very concerned with the signings, because I think if a new manager comes in, Jabba and Dora, I think they look at Anana and probably think, not for me. I think they look at Martinez, probably think, not for me. I think they look at Agate, think, probably not for me. I think that they look at Rashford and Bruno and think, I can't trust these boys. And then I think they look at Højlund and Xerxes and think, not for me. They can't score goals. So do we just have to rip this team up? And it's 6 years before we can get near a title. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm overreacting, but someone talk to me. Someone tell me I'm being Mariah Carey.
We've got a comment here from Andrew saying 100% correct. So he believes in you. Just quickly, I just want to, before I come to you, Dora, about that, because Bathtime said a lot there in those that time. They did. There's a lot to take in.
Okay.
I'm feeling you. But when I look at the Spurs lineup today, in midfield, now this is their midfield three. They had Bentancur. Is it Bentancur?
Bentancur, yeah.
Bentancur, Uruguayan international. And then they had two attacking midfielders in the midfield with the Swedish guy, who's a winger, and Maddison playing in the midfield three. Now, to me, that shows that they believe in the manager. They're going to do the job, do the work that a midfield three is supposed to do. And when I see that, and they've got the talent to do it as well. So they're good on the ball. They've got the talent and the work rate and the running power, knowing things were going to come off because they're happy and content with what they're doing. Now, this is what I've always said about Bruno. Why can't Bruno play in the midfield three? If we are playing that system, why can't he do that? Or why can't these, number 10s that don't exist in the game anymore play in midfield three? And I've seen great example of that today, which is one guy like Bentancur, whatever his name is, in the midfield, who's familiar playing there with two others. The only team I've seen do that is Man City, when you've got David Silva, Bernardo Silva, and guys like that, and De Bruyne in the midfield as well, like that. And I think it's really good to see when you can see these talented wingers or talented players like that playing in that position and doing it really well for the team.
Where to start? I mean, it feels like and people are going to blame it. Oh, we changed so much that midfield, that's why it doesn't work and all that. But I think you're on point, right? You have at this moment in time, we have midfielders at disposal, but it feels like they're either good at one thing, they're either very one-dimensional, and they cannot do two things, from what manager asks from them, or they have, they're decent at what they do, but they're either too small or they're too slow, and there is always some kind of deficiency. But yeah, why couldn't Bruno play in that three? Why is he always, he's supposed to be this world-class attacking midfielder? Why isn't he, playing more disciplined and, dropping back a bit more? He's not playing as a second striker and, going into the same spaces strikers who are supposed to be there. At times I feel like, he and Zirkzee are playing the same position. We saw that last season with him and Højlund as well. We talked about it multiple times on this stream. Then you have Mainu, who is still young, but, you can clearly see his good, his advantages. He's great on the ball. He's press resistant. He's very good against the press. He's very good on the ball. Decent passer. He should get better as the time goes on, but he's not very leggy. He's very leggy. He doesn't have, runs in him and all that. And then you have Ugarte, who is apparently good at intercepting, but he's too slow, he cannot pass, and defensively he's all over the place. And I don't know if that's Ten Hag's system or it's him, but he didn't impress me. He hasn't impressed me in the last few games. So I don't know. I feel like we get, I don't know, maybe this is a scouting problem as well, Omondi. Maybe this is a recruitment problem as well, because we are buying two one-dimensional players. Maybe that's it. Maybe we are buying two one-dimensional players, and then on the other side you have coaches and the managers who are supposed to coach these players and say, look, this is the system that we are going to play. You're going to adapt to it. We had under Fergie, Giggs was a winger, then he was a midfielder. You had what's his face, Rooney. He was a striker, then he was a second striker, then he was a winger, then he was a number 10, and then in the end, under Van Gaal, he was playing a defensive midfielder. Like, it wasn't great, but he was doing that for the team. So you had, these players who, Darren Fletcher as well, he played everything. So why cannot we? And he wasn't a particularly insane player. He was decent, nothing else, right? He wasn't a world-class player, but he was decent. So why, our players cannot adapt? Why these coaches who are apparently very good? We have Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was doing great things with PSV. We have a manager. We have Ilcox, as a technical director. We have all those coaches and all that, and they cannot teach or show to these players how to play this system. And that, to me, that's a huge issue, because this is what third time in the last 10 years or whatever years that we are seeing, some fans are saying, oh, the players are throwing the manager under the bus. I feel like they are playing for him. They didn't give up today. They ran for him. They ran for him today, in my opinion. They didn't give up. They were running all over the place. It's just they were making insane mistakes. Martinez is all, ride or die for everyone, but he was making mistakes because he lost his head, because he was always in the bad positions. That's why he made mistakes. It's not because he gave up on the manager. I truly don't believe that. I think it's a myth. I think these players want to play for this manager. You can maybe question someone like Rashford, who had problems with Ten Hag before, Casemiro and all that, but I feel their effort cannot be questioned today. I feel this is a systematic error and problems with the coaching staff, that they cannot get these players to, work the system, to adapt to the game. And it has been an issue third season in a row, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed.
I mean, the recruitment is absolutely insane for the system. To bring Ugarte in, who does not have the legs big enough to cover these spaces, and to have Martinez playing in spaces so open, and you saw Martinez was eaten alive all game and can't recover space because he's just not a good long distance runner. Neither is Ugarte. And then the thing that I remember hearing on the commentary, which I thought was a brilliant point from Gary Neville, who apparently has just called for Erik ten Hag to be sacked. Is this team takes more risks in its own box than it does in the opposition's.
Yeah.
And I think that's correct, and I think it's shocking. But we're getting to an hour and 15 minutes, Yabba, so we can go for another 5 or 10 minutes, I suppose. But tomorrow, instead of an eye test, I think we're just going to do a general discussion on what's going wrong, what needs to improve, and so on. So I'm not watching that game again, basically, is what I'm saying. Don't make me do it, lads.
I think Gary Neville was talking about football, modern football on the whole, when he said that about taking more risks in your own half than you do in the opposition half, which is true. Great stream, says Andrew Williams. Another rebuild. It's interesting, isn't it? Has this session changed you? I started off kind of disappointed and angry, and a lot of people. If Gary Neville says he should go, then publicly like that, then and a big figure like him saying that, his word is everything.
He said they've got to address the root cause, which people are taking to be Ten Hag out. It's not a direct call for them, but
I mean, have we really addressed the root cause though? Do we know exactly what it is? He's got more insight because he's around the club. Maybe there is something about the culture or whatever. That's why they kept him on. Ineos kept him on because I believe they want him to be instrumental in changing the culture by addressing all these players like Ronaldo and Sancho who are on board with it, But what we're seeing now with the performances, is suggesting that the culture is still bad because the players aren't performing or don't seem to be bothered like some other players. I was watching Ipswich earlier. Fantastic what they did, and they really worked themselves back into the game. They were 2-1 down, got to 2-2, and showed a lot of stuff. And this is a team with 7 players who were playing first division football not so long ago, So it just shows you. So when you talked about McTominay earlier, and the reason you liked McTominay is because sometimes you need players. Because I start here. What you're supposed to do as a footballer, the things that you're supposed to do, the desire, the 110%, the effort, the will, to put your body where it hurts, play on through things. Don't, have bad attitude, harmony. The things that you're expected to do, you're supposed to do. It's like, it's just granted. If you're getting paid that sort of money, no one should question you. You're supposed to do these things. But we're seeing our players at Man United getting paid a world of money and not doing the basics, the fundamentals. They've got talent, but you can't. You're not going to perform or have any kind of career if you've got talent and you don't have those fundamentals, 110%, and all these will and desire and all that kind of thing. If you don't have that, you're not going to be a top player.
Do you know what I think it is? Right,
Rooney's a top player because he's got the talent and that desire.
But it's also the people around you, because you were talking about De Ligt and Mazraoui earlier, and I think regardless of what you say of them as players, they've shown that they're good professionals across their career, I believe. I think that when you talk about the root cause and you talk about culture and stuff like that at the club, and I hate to say this, but the number one target should be Bruno Fernandes as the club captain, because players run dressing rooms. Like we all remember. Do you remember President Matic, where he wanted to set up that committee and things like that? I think that, like Ericsson talked during the week about how he felt that the 20 players wanted it more, and I do have some sympathy for Ten Hag about players just running past the team, because it's like, do you remember Gladiators where they used to run the gauntlet? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how are you going to train for that in the week? Right, this guy's going to beat 4 players. You've never seen it before at your level of football, but you're going to have to be aware that might happen. It's absolute. It's just bollocks from the players, but you've got to look at the senior players for this. Bruno is the leader of the senior players. There's Shaw, who's never there. Like I don't know who else is there. I don't know if Casemiro is seen as a senior player in the dressing room. But they've got to manage themselves and they've got to set down the standards. Because as fans, we talk a lot of bollocks about standards, about how we should be beating Spurs at home, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Right, that's not what standards are. Standards is about the basic application of a player on a football pitch. And you talk about McTominay, he would always go to the end, he'd always give 110%, etc., etc. And then we got rid of him. So, like, who is the guy that's setting the standards in training? Who is being early? Who is going to go and shout at Bruno for putting everyone under the bus with that red card? Like, Andrew's brought up Maguire. I know that you love Maguire, Yabba, but I don't think that he had that in him, to be perfectly honest. We saw from the Ollie interviews that he was kind of captain by default because other players didn't want it. And what we need to get in are leaders and proper professionals who demand the best from everyone around them. Because I think that the problem with the team is that there's just not enough fear of failure in there anymore, and that the standards have dropped. And I'm kind of with Erik ten Hag on this if he's going on about players running past everyone, because it's not something you expect from professional football. And I think that now, if Ten Hag is to stay, there needs to be a sacrifice, and it needs to be Bruno. And I think that when the next manager comes in, he's got to look at those players, know none of them are leaders, and get some leaders in as soon as possible, just to get the basics on the training ground and on the football pitch. Because after 2 minutes into that game, when we were a goal down, I didn't think we had a hope in hell of getting back into that game. And I don't think anyone else did.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Look, I mean, it's been a bad end to the weekend for us, you know. I was optimistic. I want to shout out Mr. B because it's not often he goes against our team in the prediction show. And he actually said we're going to lose the game, regardless of the scoreline. He said we're going to lose. And very rare I've heard him say that. But he can sense, because Mr. B this week has turned against Eric Ten Hag. He used to have patience with him. He's gone against that now. And now he's also backed it by saying we're going to lose to Spurs. And Spurs, he watches football. He knows football, Mr. B. And he's seen the energy that Spurs have at the moment. They're on the up. And they've come to Old Trafford and won convincingly 3-0. So it's a disappointing end for the weekend for me. This is what we have to deal with at Man United at the moment. But we've got to just keep it together and hope that we can get some improvement and address. The most important thing is address, like Gary Neville said, what are the issues? Address them. Don't be afraid anymore. Ineos, go in there and just find out what's really going on. What is really going on that we can perform so badly with such talented or highly paid players. Interesting that. But yeah.
Hey, before we go, I just want to say this. Liverpool and Spurs scored more at Old Trafford than United this season.
It's rivals. And they've both beaten us 3-0. We were level on points with Spurs today.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Shout out to Dora and to Yabba for joining me. Yabba saved a penalty for his team today, which that's character and leadership.
Do you want me to talk about it?
Did you dive or did they just hit it straight at you?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, go on. Tell us about your penalty.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're asking. All right. Yeah, this is our third. We've lost our first 2 games, 4-1, 4-1 in the league. We haven't had a goalkeeper. Today we've had a bare 11, 12 turn up, you know, and we're playing a team that are pretty good. And I said, look, let me just go in goal because we didn't have a proper goalkeeper. We haven't had a goalkeeper all year. So I've gone in goal, and goalkeeping is very difficult. Trust me. Like, I'm 6'5", and I'm thinking, yeah. When I was young, I was more agile. I could play good in goal, but even in the warm up, you know, they were hitting it low. I couldn't get down there. I couldn't think. So a lot of things you had to learn. So when you're playing in goal, there's a couple of times when I'm coming out because I'm good with my feet, trying to sort of build up with the play and everything. But I'm turning around and think, oh my God, I'm not positioning myself correctly because you lose sight of where the goal is. And you know, so you always have to be checking yourself, checking distances. When the ball gets played over a high line, am I going to clear out and come out? And it was really tough at first. Now, they scored early on. The guy ran through our defence with a good run off the ball. And it was like me and him, and he shot, bam, right above me. I went to reach, but it was just too late. It was a powerful shot, just blasted above me. And then the second goal, it was my fault because we were trying to play out from the back. I was, you know, looking for players, and I played it into the guy. The centre midfielder came at the edge of the box. I gave it to him, but it was a bit of a poor pass, to be honest. But he didn't get there. He wasn't reactive. And then they gave the ball away. And then there were 3, 4, 5, 6 passes later, they shot, and it just went right in the corner. And I was blindsided. I couldn't do anything about it. So I was disappointed. After that, got better. We came back to 2-2 second half, and at 2-2, we gave away a penalty. And I was confident. The guy stepped up for the penalty. I said, I'm going to go to my right. I kind of read him, you know, gave him the eyes. And I made myself big like that. And I went to dive to the right, but not completely committed. And it went more kind of central right. And I managed to get a good hand in it. And we cleared. And I was really happy about that. But goalkeeping is no joke. And I appreciate why goalkeepers get a lot of stick because it's a difficult job to read things. You have to be. I was switched on. I had to say, concentrate. I even had one of the guys come round, walk past the goal to try and talk to me. I said, no. I don't want to hear it right now because he wanted to talk about what subs we're going to make. And I'm saying, no. I need to concentrate at all times. So, yeah, I play every position. But today, I saved a penalty and we got the 3 points. We ended up winning 3-2.
Do you agree with me now that goalkeeper is the hardest position on the football pitch?
Could well be. Honestly, really tough.
Yeah. All right. With that bombshell, we're going to finish here. I'd like to thank Dora for coming on, walking her dog and everything. It was great to see you, Dora. Like, I wish we could meet under better circumstances. Yabba, well done for not being incredibly positive. And I enjoyed your rants; they were excellent. Also, shout out to Simon, who's just come in. I hope that you're feeling better, my friend. I know you're recovering. And to everyone watching, we'll be back tomorrow, where we're going to do an obituary, I think. Hopefully it'll be, like all three of us. Keep posted on social media and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, everyone enjoy your weekend, and we'll get you through next week. Thank you. It's like, subscribe, and lack a notch time.
Lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch from me.
And lack a notch from me.